Welcome to Life Planning 101, brought to you by Smart Money Group and Kennedy Financial Services in Eastland, Texas. Tune in every week as we share important information to help you and your family live life on purpose. Insurance, investments, legacy and tax planning, and much more. All covered now on Life Planning 101.
Welcome into Life Planning 101. My name is Angela Robinson with Smart Money Group and Kennedy Financial Services out of the big town of Eastland, Texas, where we help people live life on purpose. Yes, visit us online, www.kennedy-financial.com. We are a life planning firm and really have been so since 1989. Crazy. Yes. Very blessed to be second generation in a firm that started to look at things holistically back then. And that's something that hasn't changed. A lot has changed since 1989, but that has not changed. That our goal is literally to help people live life on purpose, and whatever that means for them. There's no cookie cutter way to do it. But I will say that there are some things in life that, are pretty well the same for anything. So I was trying to put together this week's show, and then also we coin an article that goes in our weekly life lessons newsletter every single time we do one of these. And I was thinking about, okay, well, I could come up with some entertaining statistics on how much exercise equipment is actually bought in January, and actually found out that a lot's bought in December, I guess, in anticipation. And there's a lot of sales in January. But I did find out, the interesting thing is that I found out why President's Day sales are so good. I laugh, but it's really kind of sad. It falls in line with the fact that all returns made on these New Year's resolution items actually happen, and then they need to get rid of them and redisperse them. So sad and a heavy sigh, because in one way or another, this rings true for everyone. I don't know a single person, and if you know them, I would really like to know them. I would like to know more about them. I'd like to study them. I'd like to learn from them. I'd even ask them probably to be my mentor. But I do not know one person that has achieved or followed through on every sought out goal that they've ever put out there, or resolution that they've ever put out there. In fact, I don't know many people that have met New Year's resolutions over the years. I know a few, but I don't know many that have. So here we are sitting here the week of President's Day, and I'm betting that this is like kind of hitting you hard in a wrong way, because you may have come up with some things you wanted to do in the new year, and you haven't quite lived up to it. And I'm not going to depress you any further. I didn't look up any statistics on how many failed goals or resolutions are out there. I know it's already a depressing thought, but I am going to I'm going to do the reverse. I'm going to put some pep in your step today, because what we're going to be talking about on Life Planning 101 is getting in financial shape. It hurts. It hurts. Getting in financial shape is tough. I don't know which is worse, physical shape, eating right, or financial shape, having to look at your budget. They're both very painstaking items if you want to think about it. And much more as you think about getting in shape and getting in financial shape, and then you think what it's going to take to actually stick it out and do it, right? And that could be tough. That could be tough. We all have different things that we need to work on. Everybody does. Perhaps for you, it's your budget. We always talk about that kind of being like, you are here. Perhaps you need to be saving more, or you need to update your estate planning. Maybe what comes to mind is the continuity of your business. What if something happened to you or your key employees, or have you actually planned for how you're going to sell your business, transfer your business? Or maybe you think, I'm never going to sell my business, but what if something happened to you health-wise that you were forced to do something? Perhaps you just need to know if you can retire someday. You want to retire, but you just don't know if you can. And your worry is that you may be able to retire, but can you stay retired and stay retired successfully, as we say? You need to protect your family. How do you do that if you pass away? What if you live too long. You don't want to be a burden. I hear that all the time. Or maybe you just want to pay less to Uncle Sam. Maybe you just want to make sure your assets are protected. What about lawsuits, creditors, divorces, thieves of your money? Or perhaps getting in financial shape for you just means being a better steward of your money altogether. The reality is that no matter what the goal is here, did any of these sound like a 1-minute fix? Now some of them might be quicker than easier. Maybe you know what you need to do and you just need to do it. So it is a little quicker, but a lot of these could take the better part of a year or even more, depending on the complexity. And I got a news flash for you about that. That equates to one word: discipline. So I have something that I want you to let sink in here. And this was a quote by, I guess she's an author, a fantasy author. I actually thought there was a quote that was older than this, but this kept popping up because I've heard it 1,000 times, but she's a pretty young gal. She looked younger than me. And it said, people won't change until the pain of changing is greater than the pain changing brings. That's Just B. Jordan is her name. Again, people won't change until the pain of not changing is greater than the pain changing brings. The problem with getting in financial shape is that most people don't really give it a go until the pain is bad enough, until someone dies, until that health does fail, until retirement's 2 years out. And oh, by the way, we haven't saved enough, or we've got a kid that we just cannot seem to get on track, and we're really, really concerned. We don't know how to take care of it. Our business is out of control. I've got so many things going on, I just can't keep track of anything. I'm paying so much in taxes, it's ridiculous, but I don't have time to deal with it. These are real things that we hear all the time. And it all goes back to this quote. In fact, talking about a potential new family that we could be working with are very young. They're successful already, not to the point that they would be a typical family that we work with, just simply because they haven't experienced the success yet and they don't have necessarily the cash flow to be able to be doing the things that they need to be doing. And it's kind of a catch-22, because we want to be able to help them, and we're, because they're actually doing things on time and doing things on purpose, but they're not willing to spend the money to actually do the things on purpose. And if I could only like help them teleport into the future and they come back and be able to see, maybe I'm not using that word right. If my son here says he's totally going to correct me on the teleporting telepath, maybe it's the Back to the Future car. That's what we need. But no matter, I digress. The point is they need to be able to see their future selves and how painful that could be if they don't do the things that they need to be doing right now. And maybe you don't even know what those things are. Maybe that's the complexity of all of it. And it's just having a picture of where we're at, where we are right now, and what we need to be doing to making sure that we're on the right track. So here's another newsflash for you. When people don't really give it a go until the pain is bad enough, that is not good. There is not a magic wand in this world. I wish we had that Harry Potter wand. I really do, but we don't. And it usually requires, if you wait to that point, that there's going to have to be some drastic changes. And I hate to say that. I wish I could paint a picture loud enough to keep you motivated to stick with it. Because getting in financial shape isn't easy. You got to stick it out. I wish that I could transfer the pain and the heartache that we have seen over the years that was endured simply because, I don't know, you fill in the blank. Whatever excuse you want to put in there. I didn't have time. I just never made it a focus. I tried again, on and again, off again, whatever. Because at the end of the day, you and I both know that there is not a good excuse for that. There is only one reality, And that reality is that if you aren't in financial shape, it's because you haven't made it a priority. Ooh, yes, I said it. If you're not in financial shape, it's because you haven't made it a priority. So let's fix that. What do you need to do to make it a priority? What do you need to do to make it a priority? Perhaps you hang a picture in your bathroom of the people that it would affect the most if you don't do anything. Probably, if I had to guess, the people you love the most. You leave it there as a reminder every single day to stick with it. Perhaps you tell these same people what you need to do and you want to do, and you have them hold you accountable and give them permission to ask about your progress weekly. Perhaps you look at how much you made last year. Total. Look at your tax return, look at your W-2, whatever it is. I want you to compare that number to your current investments and what they could produce over the long term, which, here's a little hint, probably at best that's going to be 4%. So you got $1 million, that's $40,000 a year. You're making $200,000 a year, I'd say you have some discrepancy there. Now, we all know apples to apples, and you probably need a retirement plan, et cetera, but I'd say that would create some motivation. Ugh, just a guess. Perhaps, here's a fun one, you could stay off all social media until you have things in order. This means X, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, whatever it is that you do. And I am certain that your kids would have a ton of fun holding you to that one. Perhaps you have an idea, okay? The point here is not to necessarily pick one of these ideas to keep you motivated. The point is to keep you motivated. I think about a book I read called Raising Men. Yes, it was written for dads. I didn't know that. It was an audio book and actually ended up loving it. It was written by a Navy SEAL, and he was pretty extreme in some measures. But that was the point is, he talked about his son and not really doing well at school. He came home and didn't want to do his homework. And so his wife called him, says he won't do it. And he won't really give a reason why. So he gets home and he asks him, what's the deal? And he says, well, it's just dumb. It's just dumb. I just don't know why I have to do it. He said, okay. So he goes and he gets his Xbox and he gets his skateboard, and happens to be the middle of winter. And he takes the Xbox and he throws it in the pool. And he takes the skateboard and takes one whack up against the corner of the house, and it breaks in two. Throws it in the pool. And he says, go get it. Kid went to get a net. And he says, oh, no, go get it. Remember, he is a Navy SEAL, right? So his kids did know how to swim, especially in cold water. Said he never had that problem again. And the point is that the pain is not bad enough if you aren't keeping it a priority. So make your pain bad enough. Bring the pain to find the gain. Why not? Why not? Because at the end of the day, why the heck are you listening to this in the first place? You're listening to this because you know that you need to get in financial shape, right? You know that. And the question is, are you going to stick it out? Can you stick it out? How can you stick it out? I'm going to pray for you. Pray for all of our listeners. Because you know what I know about money? Is that it can be the root of evil. And it can also do a lot of good. And a lot of that choice is up to the decisions that you make. So I hope that you find the pain bad enough to keep you motivated to get the gain and get yourself in financial shape like you know you need to be. My name is Angela Robinson with Kennedy Financial Services and Smart Money Group. Visit us online, www.kennedy-financial.com, and make sure you are signed up to hear every single one of our Life Planning 101 podcasts and receive our weekly life lessons where we coin fresh information in there every single week. God bless you. Have a great week, and be sure to join us right here again next week on Life Planning 101.
Thank you for joining us for Life Planning 101, brought to you by Smart Money Group and Kennedy Financial Services. If you have questions, you can email them to lifeplanning@kennedy-financial.com. Don't forget to learn how our sister company can assist you with all of your tax and consulting needs. You can find out more at briscoeandassociates.com. Be sure to tune in next week for more Life Planning 101. The opinions expressed herein are those of the firm and are subject to change without notice. The opinions referenced are as of the date of publication and are subject to change due to changes in the market or economic conditions and may not necessarily come to pass. Any opinions, projections, or forward-looking statements expressed herein are solely those of the author, may differ from the views or opinions expressed by other areas of the firm, and are only for general informational purposes as of the date indicated. Securities offered through Calton & Associates Incorporated, a registered investment advisor, member of FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Smart Money Group LLC. Kennedy Financial Services and Smart Money Group LLC are separate entities and are not owned or controlled by Calton & Associates Incorporated.